Today's social media segment is brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough.
Since 1911, the Pierre Parts Store has been your one-stop shop. Family owned and operated for 4 generations, the Pierre Parts Store has served the community by providing groceries, hardware, home products, and much more, including a full-service lumber yard. Now, we've added the Thibodaux store to the family with the same values and service we've delivered for over 100 years. The Pierre Parts Store and the Thibodaux store, our family serving your family.
All right, welcome back to Bayou Time. Joining us, the superintendent of Lafourche Parish Schools, Mr. Jared Martin. Mr. Martin, good to have you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
All right, so we're going to talk about Teacher Appreciation Week and all that good stuff and graduations in the next segment. I want to talk about something that is rolling through Baton Rouge. I'm sitting down watching TV with Mom the other day, and I see a commercial. The governor's really touting that Senate Bill 313. Now, that bill is designed to fund private education through the state, but correct me if I'm wrong, the state test follows, it should all follow together, right? It shouldn't be split.
That is the exact argument that's being played out right now on the Senate floor. Originally, as written, Senate Bill 313 would allow a family to receive what's called an ESA, an educational savings account, to take that money and then apply it to a private school's tuition. The amendment to that bill required those students that receive an ESA to also take the exact same LEAP test that our public school students take in grades 3 through 10. I believe it's a good amendment. It barely passed the House floor with a 20-18 vote. And what it allows Louisiana to do is compare the results of kids by giving the exact same test, right? So if you're going to say that the 5th grade education at school A is better than school B, then the only way to arrive at that is by giving the same test that the public schools give. And so the commercial that you saw is the governor's response to the senators adding that accountability measure to this bill. Again, I don't know how the bill would have passed without those accountability measures, because if this is an effort to improve outcomes, certainly you have to measure those outcomes with the same instrument.
Who's driving the train when it comes to the information? Obviously, the governor's a new governor. He's going to want to do certain things. I think the legislators are right in the middle of both trains, because y'all as a group are pretty powerful. Superintendents have a big voice. The governor has a big voice, obviously. Is it because there's different information circling, which normally is the case in a disagreement, on both sides?
Yeah, so this bill is being pushed by the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. It is also being pushed by an agency called the Pelican Institute out in New Orleans in the Baton Rouge area. I don't know the motivations behind it, but what I can tell you is that when it comes to school choice, I happen to be in favor of many forms of school choice. I think that parents should be allowed to make the decisions that are in the best interest of their kids. But we've got to do it in a way that's affordable, and we've got to do it in a way that actually guarantees student outcomes are better than they were in the private school setting. Louisiana has a voucher program that exists today. If a parent is in if the parent of a child in a failing school and living below the federal poverty level wants to attend another school, we have a voucher program that exists, and they can attend any school that they want, and it's funded by the state. Those students are performing worse than their public school peers. Those students receiving those vouchers and being educated in a private school setting are performing worse than their public school peers, and we wouldn't know that if those students weren't taking the same test. We would not have that information.
On the vouchers, are there limits on the vouchers, or can anyone get a voucher?
The limits are based on income and the letter grade of the school you would attend. If you are a wealthy person living in an A-rated school's geographic boundaries, then you wouldn't qualify. If you're living in poverty in a failing school, you do qualify. Those students can take their voucher dollars and then go attend a private school.
Yeah, so somebody who would be at Terrebonne or Bourgeois or Ellender or wherever, South Terrebonne, they could get a voucher and go to Vanderbilt or E.D. White or any of those places without any repercussion or any resistance. Am I right about that?
So if the bill would have passed without being amended, you would have been right about that. And the kids would not even have to take the same state tests to get their diploma or to finish their Carnegie credits in high school, which is why I was a fan of the accountability measure. It's why I petitioned our Senator Fazy to vote in favor of the accountability measure. And it's why I'm glad the Senate added accountability to it, because if the money is going to follow the child, then certainly the accountability should follow the money to make sure that our state dollars are being well spent and that our kids are being educated.
Real quick, we got about a minute and a half left on this segment. Have y'all sat down with the governor? Anybody?
I have not. I've reached out to his chief of staff and absolutely willing to meet with the governor, willing to meet with anybody on his staff. I spoke to his office through a few legislators, and I think that we're pretty far apart on this issue, because I think that he wants the bill passed in its original form. And not only do I think it's an unfair comparison of performances when you're giving wildly different tests, but we haven't identified a way to fund this endeavor. And while a lot of people think that this is a great idea, because now we can get private schools paid for, at the end of the day, someone has to pay for it. There's 115,000 kids in Louisiana's private schools today. At $5,000 per kid, get out your calculator, $500 million a year added to Louisiana's budget.
All right, there you have it. The superintendent of Lafourche. We'll take a break. We invite the governor to come on. Certainly, we want all sides here on Bayou Time, so that's sometimes where we could find compromise when we get both sides. So we'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to keep the superintendent on. We want to talk about more even-keeled things right now. We Teacher Appreciation Week, graduations, a lot of different things down the pipe. We'll talk about Lafourche Parish when we come back.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your health is our legacy. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bourke, know your rights.